Hello, it's Claire, and today I am making a video response to a tag organized by Kelly Bear. So thank you, Kelly, for this tag about 5 decks I can't live without. So first, I'm French, so I'm doing this tag in English. I may do some may say some wrong things or have difficulties to explain things. I hope it's going to to go well. I have watched a video of Cassia, from Tarot Map, from Simon, and from Kelly, of course. I hope they will have some more videos. And yes, it's quite a pleasure to do this, as it's an opportunity to, to show decks and to ask ourselves questions, or to ask myself questions about which deck I use often, or I feel really connected to. So it was really difficult, of course, as I've got lots of decks. I've got a huge collection, which is not a collection for having a collection. I keep decks I am using. So of course I'm not using I think I've got more than 300 decks. I'm not using all the decks every day, but all the decks I have a connection with, and I can do some draws or spreads from time to time, and I all love them. So choosing between all my tarot decks was quite difficult. Well, the first decks was not really difficult, but then at the end I had to decide, and then I will cheat a little bit as Cassia did. I will show you the deck I hesitate for the 5th deck. So the first deck I can't live without. Well, in fact, I can live without decks, hopefully. I'm not that mad. I can perfectly live without decks. I will be sad losing it. Is Le Tarot des Mondes Oniriques, which is the Shadowscapes Tarot. It is the translation in French. I've got it in English, and I also bought it in... I received it in French, and I really like the French version. The cards are not bigger, but they are very glossy, and you've got silver gilding, and it makes the colors pop, and you've got a feeling of having a deck that is not fragile. So I really enjoyed this deck. I've got it for the Shadowscapes. I've got it for a very long time. I have a huge love for Stéphanie Puminlo art. I've got many of her reproduction in my house, and my companion gifted me. I've got a lithography, and I've got big reproduction in my bedroom. I've got 2 here also, 2 little copies. So it's really a type of art that touches me. And for me, it's a Rider-Waite clone. And it's my Rider-Waite clone, the one I prefer. I've worked quite a bit for me, and also for others. Recently, I've done quite a lot of work for others with these cards. I think we can work, do traditional spreads, and also do psychological work with the cards, and using projection. And so it's a very amazing deck. And of course, I wish I could have a bigger version, but it seems quite difficult to find. I think it's a version from Prague, maybe Praha. But well, as I already I have two versions. I keep these two decks and don't try hard to have the bigger version. But I would love to have a bigger version in French or English. It would be really cool. So this is the first one, as this is the one I've got for the longest time. This is the one I use for different the different ways of using tarot as a magical tool, as a psychological tool. So, and also just for the pleasure of looking at the cards. Also, Barbara Moore and Stéphanie Pumino, they did a very beautiful book, and what is written in the book is full of poetry, and I really like it. The second tarot is a tarot I've received quite recently. It's the Mother Mary, the Mysteries of Mary tarot deck from Etienne Grobler. I've worked with her during 1 month. She organized a journey with Mary, and it was quite a revelation. I thought of Mary, and I worked with Mary before. It's not the first time. I've explained it in videos in French. I had the Mary Oracle, the Oracle of Mary from Alana Fairchild, and when I'm doing I'm working with someone, I'm first connect with Mary energy and ask for help and assistance. So I work with the energy of Mary for a very long time. Also, as a kid, I felt the connection with Mary quite strongly, even when I was after 11, I was quite angry against the Catholic Church. So, but I kept this feeling of Mary, and then studying Mary and the different ways of Mary is depicted. Where is my working book? I've discovered that I worked with some archetypes that are in fact part of the Black Madonna also. So it's really I really thank Etienne for having organized my thoughts about Mary, for having widened my perception of this archetype, goddess, whatever we call her, and it was really a sort of yes, a rediscovery, and it made me deepen my understanding and my connection with Mary. So this is my working book. Oops, I've got inside a five leaf clover. And so I've made some research on different names of Mary, and working with this deck is just working with the essence of Mary. At the beginning, when I first saw the deck, I was quite surprised and not sure about the images. It reminded me the South America types of altars, and the way of. I have a very little church. No, it's not a church. You know, when for Christmas you put Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. So I've got a little. What's the name? How? Well, the and I've got this type that was gifted by my my aunt that was living in Peru. She was living in Peru, and this art reminds me of the type of the way they depict, with lots of brightness, full of joy, and then when I started working with the cards without having the deck, I really connected deeply with the shrink, the altars she did, and it was really a beautiful discovery. And she's amazing. Etienne is just amazing. She's continuing to work and visit religious sites to see Madonnas, and I really love what she's doing. There's something really special with this deck, and not only with the cards. I mean, the deck is not only the cards. All what she wrote on the cards is really precious, and that's why I so much love this deck. It's not. It gives something more than just a tarot deck. You've got a deep understanding, a deep way of connection with the energy of Mary. So it's a real tool, not only a clone, as I've got really beautiful clones of the Rider-Waite. Here it's not, it's a working deck. And so this and the book. The third deck is something also. It's a deck I have received recently. It's the Numinous Tarot, and before purchasing it, I was not sure, but I wanted to. I like the creator and said, okay, I'm going to purchase the deck because I was quite curious about this deck, and I had a huge heartbreak with the deck. It is full of love, full of colors. There are lots of diversity, but for me it's not. I don't care about the diversity in itself. It's more that having this diversity gives us a feeling of being together, living together, and being different but living together, and possibility to share things. A sort of it is full of humanity. Full of it's very sweet, and it goes very well with the Mary, the mysteries of Mary. Most of the time, I look at the chariot. Most of the time, I put the mystery of Mary, a card from the mystery of Mary Tarot, and then give more information around this card from this tarot, and it works really well. And I also have the Next World Tarot, which I really love, but this one has something full of tenderness and love, and love it. So, and I love the text also of the guidebook. I mean, it gives something more than a traditional Rider-Waite again. As I've got lots of decks, most of the time my favorite decks, the decks I'm using the more, are the decks that are different and that gives me a different perspective on tarot. So that's why I do love these two tarot. Then there is a deck I've really worked a lot with. It's the Serpentfire Tarot. I love the guidebook. There is something in the guidebook that is special. Proposition for working and understanding of the cards that are quite bright. It's full of brightness, intelligence, and really like. I love this deck. I have the She-Wolf Tarot also, and I love also the She-Wolf. I prefer the images of this one, but the guidebook is more. There are more things on the guidebook in the She-Wolf, so I have hesitated between both, but I use more this one. I don't know. I think I prefer the art of this one. So it's quite a surprise. As it was not exactly the art I used to love, but working with it gave me really a strong connection with this particular deck and the particular twist and the particular point of view of the artist. Is really interesting, and it helped me a lot. Maybe because I can share things, particularities with the what's the name? Devani? I don't remember. The artist are kind of. She's got a mind that looks like mine, with really with anxious problems and things like that. She have to fight this, and so maybe I can find myself in the text more easily, because she lives things that I know well. And I like the color, and there's something. It's not warm deck. The colors are warm, but it's a quite. You've got a sort of intellectual feeling, I think, in this deck, but it's full of color, and then you've got the text in the guidebook, which gives you really bright information. Look, this one. So this is the Serpentfire Tarot. So I've got 4 now, and so so the 5th one was difficult, because I had to choose between a tarot de Marseille, a tarot that I use quite a lot and that I love, and another that I love. So I will show you the 3 I have hesitated. So I have hesitated between the tarot Claude Burdel. It is a tarot. This I've chosen this one. I've got lots of historical decks, and I've chosen this one because it was gifted to me by a friend who had cut the corners, and then that means that when I see the deck, then I think of my friend. So it's very cool, and also it looks less as a collector deck, as it has been cutted, and more as a practical deck. And also I love the Burdel because of the colors and particularly the greens. So you can see here is sort of emerald green, and also I do love the miners. They are more bright, look, and it's so beautiful. In Marseille, it's the miners I prefer. I love the flowers. I love yeah, you can see the leaves growing. You can see, yes, the flowers. You can see, look how beautiful it is. And so, well, this one is important for me, and I think I would take this tarot in the top 5 if I had to live in a desert isle. I have to choose only 5 decks. I think I would choose this one. But I have hesitated between 2 other decks. The Lili Black Tarot from Celia. So Celia is she's a friend of mine, and she's making the illustration of my little oracles. But she also self-published decks, and this is one of her self-published deck, and I love the black edition. It's like there's something going from the dark, from the dark, and you've got the color growing from the dark. So it's really beautiful, and the court cards are very nice too. Look how beautiful it is. Look, I love the cup card. Look at this card, and everything is really delicate, and I can see her through the cards. Look at this one. Isn't it gorgeous? I'll show you. Love the devil. Love this card too. Also this one. Love this card. It's the High Priest. Love. It's really a beautiful deck, and I really enjoy using it. You know, the edges are black. I didn't do it. It's the deck has black edges. It's beautiful. So it's the Lili Black Tarot. And the last one is the Alice Tarot. So I like it because also there are lots of twists in this tarot, and it is gorgeous, as all Baba Studio tarots. I love the connection with the story. I love there's lots of humor, and the meaning of some cards have been changed, and I love this Empress. We often see Empress just as the positive side of the Empress, and yeah, we're not sure about how she is really taking care of the baby, and if she's a good mother or not. Look, I love everything in this deck. I've got also the big book, and like reading the book, and understanding what's the connection with the story, between the story and the cards. So it helps understanding the card and the story. You put the cards, and then you've got a sort of story to understand what's the problem you've got, to guide you. So as it is from a story, then the reading is easiest, because you've got everything to make a story, and to to answer to your question by a story, and I think it's really powerful. I've got also the Bohemian Gothic Tarot and the Romantic Tarot, Bohemian Romantic Tarot. Well, Bohemian Gothic and Romantic, yes, and love the two. But this one is a sort of funny deck. So yeah, I could have added the deck of Hélène Lorenzi Prince on Goddesses, Dark Goddesses Tarot, but I don't really consider it as a tarot. For me, it's more an oracle. As I take the I use it to take the goddess, read about the goddess, and then use the energy of this goddess. So it's not in my list. Well, that's all. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you understood what I said. Sometimes it's difficult. And also, I don't speak English very often. I used to, but now I don't have lots of opportunities. So the words all the words are going, I don't know where, but they're not living anymore in my head. So translation is more difficult. Thank you for this tag again, Kelly, and I enjoy doing it. And for my French followers, see you in the next video. Bye bye.